Hello, and welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast with Astrologer Shelley Overton. Okay, hi, it's Shelley, and welcome to the October 28th, 2020 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. Really good to be here with you today. Excited to get going. There's always a lot to talk about in the astrological world. We've got Venus in Libra now. It's at 0 degrees and 44 minutes. I will confess that my ephemeris, my daily planner, is missing in action. I don't know where it is in the house. So we've got an ephemeris up on the computer and a chart up on the computer. So I'm going to do the best I can. I wanted to make sure I got this out this week. We've got a bit of noise. I hope you can't hear it too much. It's my neighbor's house is getting re-roofed. So bang, bang, bang. Sounds like fireworks going off in the background. And as you may have noticed, I cut my hair. You probably can't tell too much, but I cut it yesterday. And I really just wanted to do something different. So it's not too different, but anyway, there you go. It's shorter. For those of you who are wondering who I'm talking to and video, the people who are watching the video can see this. I also put this podcast up on SoundCloud. And the people on SoundCloud who listen through iTunes or Google Play, any of those places, they don't get to see this. So if you are listening in audio, you can go to YouTube and type in Shelley Overton or AstroEnergy, and this will come up because I have a playlist for AstroEnergy on my YouTube account. And I post it every week, so you'll get to see it there. Anyway, yeah, so it's been kind of a busy, noisy day, and I just wanted to make sure that I got all of this out for you this week. And we've got a full moon coming at, let me see, I'm going to have to cipher this because, again, I would just look in my planner, but I don't know where I put it. It's coming up Halloween. Oh, and it will be in Taurus. I know that much. So it's on Halloween in Taurus. And that means that the moon is in Taurus and the sun is in Scorpio. So I'm going to just look here. It's going to be about 8 degrees. And excuse me for just a second. There you go. You don't have to listen. Clearing my throat. For those of you who are just hearing audio, I'm benevolent to you. Yeah, and we are going to have a lot of Libra energy. We've got Mercury at 27 Libra retrograde coming up on Halloween. Halloween is this Saturday. Dia de los Muertos is November 1st. That is daylight standard time. So we're moving back from daylight savings into standard. So spring ahead, fall back, which means we're going to set the clocks back an hour right on Halloween. So of all these years with kids trick-or-treating, of course, this year is a little bit different. We don't know if they're going to trick-or-treat a whole lot this year. But I saw a really great idea online of using a soup ladle. And, you know, I used to sit out on my cul-de-sac on the driveway and just pass out candy with my neighbors around. It was a lot of fun. But I don't really do that anymore. My kids are grown, and that's not something I need to do. So I think sitting out on the driveway with a soup ladle and passing out candy would be a really great idea. My parents are a little bit confused as to what to do about that, but that's what I would do. Otherwise, little hands tend to take a lot of candy. So maybe just overseeing it if, in fact, you do the Halloween thing. And also a lot of places let them come to like strip malls. And, you know, we've got a very large strip mall near my house, and it's got, you know, all the big stores. And so kids go around there. But on Halloween, full moon. And I'm pretty sure there was one last year as well. And I find it really amazing to have full moons on Halloween because it is kind of about witches and ghosts and ghouly things. And having a full moon on Halloween really adds to the feeling of that day. And so, of course, it is the time of year with the sun in Scorpio. So for me, not really surprising that we really celebrate things that are spooky and scary in a time of the year with Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. We talked rulerships last week. For those of you who haven't listened to me before or are kind of missing episodes here and there, last week we did rulerships, and it kind of gave you an idea a little bit more about how they work. And hopefully I spoke enough about that. For a quick overview, every sign has a planet associated with it. So when you look at a chart, even if a planet is not in its own sign, it answers to the planet of the sign it's in. So Sun rules Leo, but it's in Scorpio. So it answers to Pluto, which is Scorpio's ruler. And that means that as the sun goes further and further along in the sign of Scorpio and gets to later degrees, that's where Pluto is in Capricorn, tremendous power coming up in December. Actually, let me see, November. I'm going to look it up here real quick. Sun and Pluto's at 22 degrees. So on the 15th of why is that not resonating? That's not right. Okay, because it's the wrong month. 22 degrees for Scorpio will be Saturday the 14th of November. And it's so powerful. I was explaining this to my daughter. My daughter, she's got Moon in Aquarius. She's got Neptune and Uranus in Aquarius. So she is kind of predisposed towards astrology, but I don't know if everyone of that generation really realizes how much astrology will influence their lives, because when the planets focus energy on the sign of Aquarius, it does rule astrology. It rules meteorology and anything that is scientific. What's the word I'm looking for? Inventive, unusual, eccentric. It's an electrical energy that seeks things out. It's very curious. So we will find a lot of new information coming in at this time. And you know me, every time, I don't have anything I can use handy here. Let me try this. I'm going to try and wipe the camera down, and it's always so foggy, but hopefully that'll help. And I'll bump up the contrast and the sharpness in post-production. But as we really experience the scorpionic time, and then the sun goes in in sextile, which is 60 degrees away from Pluto, we're going to experience this tremendous power towards manifestation. And Scorpio is a sign that understands the hidden, and you really can't pull a lot over on a Scorpio. And I can tell you, in about 5 years, when Pluto goes into Aquarius, you won't be able to keep anything secret. I mean, everything will be out there. It's going to be a pretty amazing time of secrets coming out into the open as Pluto gets closer and closer to Aquarius, because Aquarius is clear-minded, clear energy. It doesn't hide things. Remember, Aquarius energy is square to Scorpio. And so having that square energy, Scorpio wants to keep things hidden. It loves understanding things on a subliminal level and a subconscious or hidden level. It's great with mysteries. It's great with research. But Aquarius doesn't need to do that much research, because it just innately understands the truth, understands the nature of things. And that's why they're so fast, where keep in mind, Taurus is opposite Scorpio. So Taurus is a sign that, really being an earth sign, likes to dig in deep and really take its time and understand things in a very methodical way. So you'll find Taurians much more at a slower pace. They're tactile, they like to feel things, but they take their time. Aquarius is very fast, and it makes it uncomfortable for Taurus and Taurians in its energy. So right now we have Uranus in the sign of Taurus. What that means is Uranus is being slowed down by Taurus, but Taurus is being asked to speed up and get with the program with Uranus. And it also means that whenever the planets move into Aquarius, they answer to Uranus in Taurus right now until Taurus goes into, or Uranus goes into Gemini. So while the sun moves into positive aspect around the 15th of November to Pluto, its ruling planet, it means that all those secrets that Scorpio has found, I've got chills with this, are going to be expressed. It's like a purging, really. As the end degrees of Capricorn, structure and organization, meet Aquarius, which is cleaning house and clear-minded energy. So we are all being asked to take the deep psychological Pluto energy and purge it. So whatever, I got so many chills when I told you that. When we see this energy of the sun, the ego, the sense of self, the psychology, because Scorpio is psychology, just like Pluto. And it gets to those end degrees, there are fraudulent energies, covert, what's the word? I have a lot of problems right now, Mercury retrograde with my words. You know, Mercury's retrograde in my chart. And they say, well, if Mercury's retrograde in your own chart, when Mercury's retrograde, you do better. I don't do better. I still have flaky energy. And part of that is because my Saturn's in Pisces. So opposite of that energy. And I think that's a strong reason why. But yes, we have this energy of sun sextile to Pluto, basically having a push out of all the energy of secrets coming to a head, and really a culmination. And it's a positive culmination as the sextiles are really good and positive energy. They are cooperative. So the sun wants to shine light in the dark of Scorpio as it gets ready to go into Sagittarius. That will also help move forward the energy of understanding and culmination of secrets, which will probably be at a fever pitch by the time the sun goes into Sagittarius on the 22nd. 2 comes up a lot right now. We've got Pluto at 22. We had the nodes of fate at 22 when they joined in January. And now the sun will be at 22 when he's in sextile to the energy of Pluto on the 15th of November. Remember, Mars goes direct on the 13th of November. Energies shift that day. We've also got Mercury going direct on the 3rd of November, election day. I think I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again. I don't think we'll know for certain who's going to be the chosen one, so to speak, until Mars gets closer to that direct point. And that's partially because we've got all this stuff going on behind the scenes. I can tell you when Sun sextiles Pluto, there will be a significant energy coming through at that time. Remember, Scorpio rules the underworld. It rules the I want to say mafia, basically the mafia, the underground. I don't know. There's another word. Wow, world. There's another world for that. That's a really profound thing to say. There's another world for that. There is another world for that. And infinite realities, my friends, infinite realities. Okay, we've got Venus, like I said, just into Libra. I'm going to start at the top. Right now, my chart for the now here in Orlando starts with Venus in the 9th house in Libra. And she's at 0 degrees, 44 minutes, an auspicious number, 44. That was a wonderful year for me. And she is in her own energy. So that means desires around relationships are being highlighted. Desires around money. I think it's a pretty good energy of money right now, even though we've got all the COVID stuff going on. We've got Mercury back in Libra, so we're thinking about money, we're thinking about love, we're thinking about the end story around relationships. My daughter has been going through some issues in her relationship, and if you're thinking of ending something, I would tell you what I told her. Wait until Mercury gets out of retrograde and wait until Mars gets out of retrograde, because Libra is the sign Mercury's in. Venus just got in Libra, so she's showing you some new things about the relationship. She's addressing desires associated with our relationships. And Moon is exactly opposite Venus today. I shouldn't say exact, within 3 degrees. That's pretty close. The Moon is at 3 degrees as I speak of Aries, and Mars is at 17 degrees retrograde. So what's at 17 degrees? There is the Mars energy, and Neptune is at 18, 30 degrees apart. So this is an interesting energy. This is an inconjunct energy, 30 degrees. And, you know, inconjuncts mean that there's an energy that doesn't necessarily understand each other. And I can tell you, Pisces and Aries are radically different energies. Pisces is very much the energy of integration of psychic awareness, the ethereal, the dreamy quality, you know, not really knowing clearly which way to go, and feeling foggy, feeling dreamy, and connected to the ethers. Mars has cut off from that. It's the first sign of the zodiac, and Aries in Mars. But Aries is the first sign of the zodiac ruled by Mars, and it wants to go. It wants to be in the now. It wants to be in its own thoughts, in its own energy. It's a self-centered energy, meaning he knows exactly what he wants to go and do it, doesn't think about consequences per se, and doesn't really pause, wants to get going with it. He's retrograde, meaning he's pulling back his energy. He is not expressing it fully right now. He's being restricted. And his restriction comes from Jupiter square to him, Pluto square to him, and Saturn square to him. So we're really, really in this energy of friction around that. So, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's see. I'm going to pause. Everyone's coming at me right now. My sister's texting me, unknown callers, spam calls. Anyway, but we've got this connection between the 18 degrees of Neptune and the 17 degrees of Mars. And Neptune wants us to have an idealized situation, but Neptune's retrograde also. So Neptune is clearer about what isn't working in our lives and wants to really dig up more of the subliminal behind the scenes energy. It is also Pisces, Neptune and Pisces, the energy of the hidden and your own undoing, because it's what's hidden from you in the first house. Here's the first house, and here's the 12th house that Pisces rules, and it's behind us. It's Mars is forward, Pisces is back. So it's what's behind us and what we can't see. So that's an energy of things going on behind the scenes and stuff that we can't necessarily connect to. But that being said, we can connect on a psychic level. We can connect in our dreams. We can connect in our centeredness around ourselves and knowingness. And Pisces and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, are really where we look to understand our own psychic nature, our own intuition and gut feelings. Wherever Neptune is in your chart, that's how you integrate the energy of psychic awareness and intuition. And it is a visceral energy that we pull in from our emotions, we pull into our body, and it can take over our whole mind. Like it's complete. It's like when you're underwater, your whole body and energy around your body is affected in that means. And so Mars talking to Neptune right now. So there is water energy with Neptune and Mars, and they're both retrograde, so they're really not acting necessarily in their full capacity of fire and water. They're actually, Neptune's probably a bit more earth, because opposite side is really a way of expressing the Neptune retrograde energy of really acting more like the opposite of what it would be. And in this case, opposites are Virgo for Neptune and Libra for Mars. So Mars retrograde in Aries is having to look more at relationships. Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and they're talking to each other, is more of a mental analytical energy about what's not going right. So these two can very much work together and pull up the story of how things aren't going well. Why can't I take action on this situation? And then of course, the moon in Aries opposite Venus. And of course, Venus is feminine, Mars is masculine, and they're in opposite signs. In their natural sign, Venus rules Libra, Mars rules Aries, Neptune rules Pisces. They're all in their own signs right now. So they're really expressing some of the energy or the theme of that energy. Now, Venus talking to the moon, and this is going to be very transient energy since you know, the moon is going to be gone probably by the time a lot of you listen to this. So I won't spend a long time on it, but it is daughters and mothers. Daughters are Venus, mothers can be moon. And so there is an opposition to daughters and mothers, with the mother being a little bit more aggressive, more assertive, more male energy, you know, of just do it. And Venus is really receptive. So Venus, the daughter, is probably going to be the one that's more wanting to have balance and soften and keep everything much more contained and mellow. But the moon in Aries, I will tell you, and I'm going to give this to you now. I don't know by the time you listen to it if this will play out, but moon in Aries, Mars in Aries brings out more firearm aggression. It can bring out more fires. It can bring out more emergencies. So be aware of that energy around right now for the next 2 days, because moon in Aries just happened. It just went in, I believe, overnight. And so, let's see, today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mid-afternoon on Friday, when the moon goes into Taurus, is how long this will be an influence. And so it's probably going to be Thursday when there's more of an event occurring, or we feel it more in our own lives. I know my daughter's in Aries. She's got the moon in Aries right on her sun right now, and she's irritated. She's irritated with her boyfriend. And so, and he's a Capricorn, so he's got all this energy in Capricorn, and they're squaring each other like that in the sky. So know that that's there. Know that, excuse me, if you're Cancer, you're feeling this energy really strongly too. So Cancer is the sign that really completes the square. So we've got, let me just do it your way. Capricorn, right now this is in Orlando, but Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries down at the bottom. But even as it turns, no matter where you're at, those planets are all going to be crisscrossed like that. And so Cancer people really are the balancing fourth leg to the three-legged chair, because we've got Venus in Libra, Mercury in Libra, squaring Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn, and opposing Moon and Mars in Aries. So we have 3 different signs, cardinal signs, that we've been dealing with honestly since 2015 and maybe even the end of 2014. Pardon me a second, I got it. I got a little runny nose because it's fall. Anyway, so these energies coming through are still very cardinal. Wherever the cardinal signs fall in your chart, that is where the friction's happening this week. The moon in Aries, we're going to have that stress aspect today and tomorrow and Friday for part of the day. And then moon in Taurus is going to join up with Uranus, as moon does every month. So think about it right now, as moon goes all the way through the zodiac every month, it's touching on all of these aspects. So really what I want to probably focus on continually, I know I've talked a lot about it, but it's really the next energy coming in. You know what, I am going to get to that. You know me, I go everywhere because, you know, Aquarian energy right now. But I will get to mid-November, but the full moon in Taurus is a really good time of changing your ideas, allowing the change to come in, which pretty much when the moon hits Uranus, which is at 8 degrees, and it's going to be right when it gets in, you're going to have the full moon lighting up Uranus. And that means it could be windier. We'll have clarification of things. We will potentially have a volatile stock market because the moon is the culmination. Uranus is the power and energy, like electrical power behind it, the lightning, the I don't know. You get what I'm saying. It's like the globe that has all the lightning bolts coming out of it. We're really going to have that accented as the moon gets to Uranus this week. And then, of course, Uranus is opposite the sun in the next 3 days, which will be, let me see here, on Halloween. Like I said, Halloween, we've got that full moon, the sun setting, the moon coming up. Remember that. So I say this fairly frequently, not every week, but I want you to understand how planets affect us in the material world. Because a lot of times I think people see astrology as kind of out there. And how do you understand it? It's so complicated. It looks like really involved. You've got numbers, you've got angles and symbols. Those symbols represent actual physical planets. That is up in the sky all the time, every day. We live on one of those planets. And so anyway, the energies are always around us, always doing something. But on Halloween, the sun will be here, the moon will be here. Sun goes down, actually, western horizon, so that works. You're recording it in the right angle here. So the sun goes down in the west, the moon comes up in the east. They are opposite each other, and throughout the night, as the moon is there, Uranus is right next to it. So these three energies, sun, moon, Uranus, are going to be talking very strongly on Halloween night. What does that mean? Well, for one, it's going to be lit up really well. You're going to be able to see where you're going if you're trick-or-treating. And Uranus will bring out the unexpected, bring out the eccentric, bring out the unusual. There will be surprises. There will be events that we can't anticipate. And it is associated with the earth energy. It can mean, and every time I talk about Uranus, I bring in the energy of outages, the internet, potential chemical explosions, chemical events, chemistry, anything with something that will do like an alchemical shift. That is also Uranus. As it relates to the earth, this is food supplies, food awareness, tainted food, coming out into the open, because the sun and the moon are talking, and it's a culmination energy. It is sun powering, like lighting up everything, and the moon reflecting that light and shining it around Uranus. So Uranus has its say on Halloween. I will guarantee it. Mercury, so that's just 3 days from when Mercury goes direct. Mercury will be slowing down next week. I can't believe we're already looking at the election. I know that sounds strange because we've been living with it for 2 years. I purposely not engaged for, I would say, until the beginning of this year. I've shut out all the rhetoric until the beginning of this year. And even so, I already knew. I think most of us already knew who we were voting for. But yeah, the campaign cycle is so long that I anticipated it. It pretty much started the second we had a new president. But yeah, it's finally coming towards an end. I wouldn't say it ends next week by any means, but we're getting there. We're getting there. By the end of the year, definitely Saturn, Jupiter going into a new sign at the end of the year will be a shift. Saturn and Jupiter in new signs in the sign of Aquarius is new. Capricorn is old, Aquarius is new. Pisces is old, Aries is new. Taurus, I guess you could assign old to it. I really don't necessarily assign old and new to the other signs, but definitely as we get towards the end signs of the zodiac, you can see how old and new play out in the energies. Okay, what else have we got here? Kind of tired of talking about Capricorn. You kind of know all the planets and everything there. You can listen to past podcasts because I'm sure you're just as tired as I am. Yeah, and Mercury, I think I want to talk a little bit about Mercury because Mercury is in Libra as is Venus. So they're bookending Libra, which means Librans are really kind of paying attention to the energy right now. Thoughts go back to balance and the culmination of a story. So Libra as a sign, being the sign of balance, wants to be in the middle and everybody's happy. Obviously, that has not been the case for what's been going on politically or even around the world. We are polarized in a society. We are polarized right now. And so Libra Mercury means that we're analyzing what can be done. Ideas and brainstorming comes back in. This is the time to really go back over what your ideas are, where we have been recently with how we think it should work. And then once Mercury goes direct, there's a very short amount of time before Mercury goes into Scorpio. It goes direct on the 3rd and on the 10th. So 1 week we have to finish out our story in Libra. That's probably going to be when relationships end, marriages end, and there seem to be a lot of those cycles coming up lately, and that's partly because we have all these planets clustered in the cardinal signs, which is beginnings and endings, especially when they're at the end of a cardinal sign going into a fixed sign. I can't even speak. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to just take a sip of water because I'm in need. Thanks for your patience. So yeah, as we get to the end of the fixed or the cardinal signs, we go into the fixed, and the fixed signs say, okay, now I know what works and what doesn't, and so I'm going to dig in with that. And that's what's going to happen as Mercury gets back into Scorpio. We're going to dig in to what we know about the commitment and the relationship and the partnership. Is it something that's going to stick around, or is it not? We are going back to the relationship to find that out. And once Mercury goes direct, it is our own awareness that we find in Mercury direct in Libra, late degrees. And when Mercury goes back into Scorpio, we dig deeper in our psychology. We figure out solutions. We execute those solutions. And while it was a random word I chose to say what I meant, Scorpio probably is the closest sign to the executioner. He will finish things off, and he will also stick by someone to the bitter end beyond even suffering of that particular sign. So if you know Scorpios, they're going to ride it out to the bitter end. So Sun going into Sagittarius, that also brings about an ending, because we can't take the suffering emotionally anymore. The end of Scorpio is also when the sun hits that, which is going to be the 21st of November. We'll really feel like we're done emotionally, like I can't live that story anymore. So the end of this year, while last year I think people were pretty optimistic about 2020 because it was supposed to be a significant year. 2020 is, the same number twice. It is a significant year. But if you look at it in a victimhood capacity, you're going to leave it feeling embittered. If you look at it as an opportunity to release what doesn't work in your life and open yourself up to the future, 2021 will give you more benefit, more fortune, more luck, because the Aquarian energy, and I've got chills with this, people, I've got chills, that is dead on. Aquarius is curious. He wants to know things, and he's more than willing to change to do it. So whatever was difficult to let go of this year, a great reason is Capricorn doesn't want to let go. Pluto doesn't want to let go. Jupiter in Aquarius is more than ready to let go. And that happens in December 19th, approximately. I'm pretty sure that's the date. Yeah, and Mercury goes into Capricorn on the 21st. Well, we got a lot of planets changing. Jupiter goes into Aquarius. Venus goes into Sagittarius. Mercury goes into Capricorn. And let's see, what was the other one? Saturn. Saturn goes into Aquarius. And Jupiter goes the 19th, Saturn goes the 16th. So mid-month, both months, prepare. I would also recommend, and this is probably only for a short amount of time, knock wood, but I would definitely have extra food, extra batteries, things like that for mid-December. You're dealing with the electrical energy of Aquarius, and you're dealing with the release of energy. It's a very powerful release. It's a very strong week of time. And Uranus and Aquarius and all the energy going into Aquarius rules storms. It rules wind energy. It can mean wind electricity can get blown out. Power lines can be subject to wind. Trees can get blown down. You know, it's pretty potent. So just as a precaution, I would definitely have supplies, whether you can't get out to get food, you can't have electrical connectivity, backup things, just, be prepared. It's Uranus. Last time there was an influence of Uranus, we had a different president altogether than what we thought we would. So with that, I'm going to wrap up and say thank you for stopping by every week. And I really do hope you have a great week. Have a safe holiday, Halloween. My thoughts are with you and your family members and those who have passed on November 1st. And we'll see you here just after Election Day. So anyway, have a good one. Don't forget to vote. Bye.
You have been listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. If you would like to get a private reading with Shelley, please contact her through angeliczodiac.com or at so@angeliczodiac.com. You can arrange a reading through the Angelic Zodiac page at facebook.com as well. Check out Angelic Zodiac on Instagram for up-to-date information on events, discounts, blogs and planetary transits at Angelic Zodiac 1 on Instagram. If you would like to see Shelley's art, shelleyoverton.com, or for astrology art, go to astroart.net. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Other music will be credited within the show. Advice given in the program is intended for entertainment purposes only. Join us here next week for more of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play, and where podcasts are accessed.